So Tortorella's gone. I don't know what happened. I don't know anything yet. I'm shocked to have to admit.
Wow.
I don't know any details of anything, but Tortorella is out as Ranger coach.
He struck it up, and the ball game is over. For the first time ever, the Mets have swept a season series from the New York Yankees. 4 for 4. 2 in City, 2 in the Bronx.
You are now listening to LB and the Sports Doctor here on WLIE 540 AM. The newest sports radio show out on Long Island. LB and the Sports Doctor. WLIE 548. Ranger fans out there, call in 631-955-5400. Give us your take. Who do you want to see on the bench for the New York Rangers next season?
You know what I want to see on the bench? Hockey until next year. Goodbye.
And that's what it is for New York right now. The Rangers.
What about Mike
out.
Keenan? Bring Mike Keenan back.
Iron Mike Keenan. I heard a lot of talk about that. He did sign a 3-year contract to a team in the KHL in Russia, but he does have an opt. An opt-out.
Yeah, an opt to let me get back to real hockey. I don't want to stay in Russia. I would rather be in America coaching
if an NHL team does come calling.
But are you one of these guys that wants Mark Messier?
I'm a fan of Mark Messier, but I'm also the type of person that knows that great players don't make good coaches. You saw it with Wayne Gretzky try with the Phoenix Coyotes. Did not work out for him. He needs experience to be a head coach. Mark Messier, one of my favorite hockey players of all time. I would love to see him behind the bench, maybe Adam Graves and Brian Leach as the assistants. That would just be a perfect world for me.
Oh, my God, dude. Now you're asking for way too much.
Yeah, that's way too much. But you know what?
That's that whole 94 team, right?
That's the stars from the 94 team is right. But I think the Rangers, they're going to go a different route, and we'll definitely bring some names up later in the show. But the Yankees, I guess we have to start the show off with them because they had a huge slide this week, losing 4 in a row to the New York Mets. The Mets sweeping the Yankees for the first time.
Well, we should have said the Mets. We should be talking about the Mets.
Right, start the show off, I guess, with the Mets.
Because all the Met fans out there, like
Riding
John, talking right now, would be like, why are you saying the Yankees? Why isn't it not the Mets?
That's right.
That's what the Subway Series brings to the city. Mm-hmm. And when you see a situation like that happen to the Yankees, in our worlds, listen, I'll be honest, I'm not going to be one of these condescending Yankee fans. Listen, the Mets took us out. I give them respect. But it's better for us now to realize that this team was overachieving.
Right.
And me and you both, well, I drank the Kool-Aid, definitely. I was like, oh, maybe this team's great. No. We don't need these guys back. I started drinking that Kool-Aid for a hot sec. Mm-hmm. And now it smacked me back into reality. Like, listen, stupid, wake up. You need Teixeira. You need Granderson back. You need Jeter back. I hate to say it, you need A-Rod back. I'm just saying. But you need the big guns back. You need Euclid back. You need these guys.
Yeah, and you're not the only person that also said that. I've been hearing that a lot from people calling up radio stations, even past weeks, that we love this team right now. We don't want these guys coming in and ruin this chemistry in this locker room right now. The Yankees are playing well with the guys that they have.
You know what's the worst, Chris, when you lose to a minor league team from Flushing?
It's tough.
4 straight games.
It's tough.
It's really, really disappointing.
Watching the 4 gagames, though, the Mets.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't mind it. But the fans now are getting on my nerves.
Really?
Because all these, I have so many words that I want to call them.
Right.
But now all of a sudden it's like, oh, my season's made. Dude, you're still like 8 games below 500. Right. Could you please up your status in mentality, Met fans? Instead of being happy that you swept us for 4 games, maybe you should start thinking like, all right, that's a good job, but it's just another game. Let's go into Miami and take care of business, but in the bottom of the 7th, they're down 1-0. So, as far as I'm concerned, your mentality needs to be raised as far as your status of your team. You need to believe that your team can be 500 or better.
Me personally, I didn't get that a lot from Met fans. I guess the Met fans that I talked to, they know that they have a bad team. And it wasn't like it was their World Series that they did sweep the Yankees. I think it's the fashion that they did it, the 2-1 win in Game 1, another 2-1 win in Game 2, that Harvey-Kuroda game, which was a great game. David Wright stepping up in this series, huge for them. Captain America, we saw him in the World Baseball Classic coming back at Citi Field, and he definitely performed for the Mets.
What has David Wright done to earn the right to be called Captain America? Could you please?
His 11 RBIs in the World Baseball Classic. I guess that's where he got the nickname, Lou. 4-game sweep is tough to do, no matter who you're playing. Whether you're playing the best team in the major leagues, the Miami Marlins could have been playing the St. Louis Cardinals in a 4-game sweep. That's still huge in baseball. It's tough to beat any team 4 games in a row, and that's why it's like such a big deal for the Mets to sweep the Yankees. Even though the Yankees lineup has been anemic this past week, it's still a big deal. It is.
It is. I'm sorry. I'm being a jerk off. I'm sorry.
But you know what? Game 3 was tough to watch. David Phelps only goes a third of an inning with 4 earned runs. I think one of the worst outings from any starting pitcher in pinstripes this season.
He got tagged up, boy.
He really did.
Mike. Dude, I can't get off this subject. I put on the game, right? I get the kid. He goes to sleep. I finally get him down. I'm like, nice. I'm like, let me put on this game. I'm like, first game in the stadium. We just got beat. Let's go.
Right.
Like, I had a little bit of juice in me to watch this game.
You lose the first 2 in Citi Field, definitely expecting a win in Game 3.
And this guy just got bombed.
Couldn't even get 2 outs.
I was like, Girardi was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
What a nightmare.
Bad outing from David Phelps. 9-4 win in Game 3 for the Mets. And then last night's game, Dylan G pitched the best game of his career, hands down. 7 1/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 12 strikeouts. 12 strikeouts last night. Unbelievable pitching outing from Dylan G. What can you say about it? Just a 3-1 win. The Yankees, again, could not get the lineup going. Brett Gardner and Robinson Cano were 3 for 8 last night, and the 3 through 9 hitters were 1 for 23.
Oh, God.
There's a stat for everybody out there.
That's like the playoffs last year.
Exactly why you need Youkilis and Teixeira back in this lineup to add some bulk. And they came at the right time because this Yankees lineup cannot score runs. They lost to the Mets 16-7 in 4 games.
Sports doctor's getting worked up now.
In 4 games. They scored 7 runs.
It was a disgusting performance by us. And we should be pissed off as Yankee fans that we perform like a bunch of clowns.
Yeah. It was bad from the lineup. Terrible hitting. Bad approaches at the plate. The Mets just got timely hitting. Great pitching, timely hitting, and Bobby Purnell out of the bullpen. He's looked sensational for the Mets this season.
You mean Mariano Parnell?
Ike's been performing. For him to then get that hit and then look like a hero.
That was Game 3. After Game 2,
oh my God,
they go back to Yankee Stadium, and I guess Mets management sat down with Ruben Tejada and Ike Davis, and they sat them both down, and they said, this is it. You guys got one more game to prove yourself that you can play at the major league level. And right from Game 3, Ruben Tejada leads the game off with a base hit. Ike Davis starts his at-bat with a base hit up the middle, I believe.
All of a sudden, they're on your ass, and they're like, "Yo, we're gonna send you down to the minors, bro. All this New York living you got right now,
right? Exactly.
Put it on hold for a hot second until you get your swing back.
We could send you to Las Vegas tomorrow.
Yeah, you want to go out to Vegas?
Yeah,
please.
All right, let's go to our first phone call of the night. We got Mike from Pittsburgh on the phone. Mike, what's going on, man?
Mikey boy.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Whoa, what are you doing? You on speakerphone or something?
No, sorry about that.
What's going on tonight, Mike?
Jesus.
What do you got going on for us?
My eardrums
Well, you know, no one's been harder on Floyd Mayweather than myself. And finally,
this is some big news. Go ahead.
He is going to fight someone that can test him. Canelo Alvarez.
Yes,
absolutely.
Is the real deal.
Young stud from Mexico.
This fight has been in the works for a long time, Mike.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is to give you a perspective, LB. Mayweather's only a 2-1 favorite. The last time it was that low was about 6 years ago when he fought De La Hoya. And the interesting thing about this fight is when they actually step in the ring, Alvarez is going to be about 15 to 20 pounds heavier than Mayweather. They both have to weigh in at 152.
Yeah.
Become fight time. It's going to be a big discrepancy. You're going to see a lot larger fighters. So I'm finally psyched up a little bit. Finally, we're getting to see a real boxing match that we haven't seen in the last few years.
Mayweather's taking a huge risk. Fighting Alvarez in his prime right now.
He is not taking a risk.
You think he could easily beat Alvarez?
No, because first of all, I think he's going to beat Alvarez. I think Alvarez is still too young. Alvarez is a beast, though, and I'm happy that Mayweather took this fight on so he can show everybody why he's the realist and why Alvarez is way too slow to hit him. If the fastest guys in the world could barely hit Floyd Mayweather, all of a sudden you tell me Alvarez? I've seen Alvarez fight. He's a great fighter, but he's not quick by any means. Mayweather's going to dodge and tag him up all night. And this is Mayweather's retirement. I'm telling you, this whole fight deal that he made with Showtime, Mike, I'm convinced it's his retirement. So he won't even mind if he loses to Alvarez for the simple fact that he'll get a rematch and get paid triple times more money, and then he could say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing you don't realize is Mayweather's whole career, his whole thing is staying undefeated and being considered one of the best of all time.
So do you think he's not going to – you think he's taking this fight to really think that he's putting himself at risk? Do you really think he's going to do that?
Well, honestly, no, because I don't think he would fight someone like Pacquiao that he thinks could beat him.
Mike, oh, God. I can't
You're getting a little mad.
I can't even believe – Mayweather was ready to fight Pacquiao. He said, take a drug test. That's all I'm asking you to do.
Right.
Pacquiao didn't want to do it. What is the problem with that?
I agree with Lou, and I've stated this plenty of times to people on Twitter, Mike. I tweeted this out when I first came across it, that the Alvarez-Mayweather fight was scheduled September 14th.
You don't see Alvarez acting like that, right? He's like, okay, I'll do whatever you need me to do.
And a lot of people were arguing that Pacquiao would be a better fight, and I'm arguing to people, have you seen the last two Pacquiao fights? He doesn't want to face Mayweather right now.
Hell no.
Absolutely not.
No, sports doctor, I agree with you. Right now, no. I'm talking more about 3 years ago. I agree.
3 or 4 years ago, that would have been a great fight to watch. But right now, they're at two different points in their careers. You're talking about we're at 2 months into the season, and the Houston Astros are 16 and a half games out.
So
the Miami Marlins are 19 and a half games out, and we didn't even hit June 1st. June 1st is tomorrow, and the Miami Marlins are 19 and a half games out.
So who's gonna lose more games between the two of them?
Well, Milwaukee is 15 and a half out, too. They only got 19
They have
wins.
13 wins, the Miami Marlins. 13 wins, 41 losses.
Well,
You're talking about a 100-loss team is a bad season for an organization.
Exactly.
100 losses, terrible year for an organization. They have 41, and not even in 2 months of the season yet.
Could he get to like 110 losses?
They're on pace right now for at least 120. At least.
I'd love to see it, man. That'd be crazy.
They are that bad.
That would be.
Oh,
and the whole
John
time,
Carlos Stanton has to get out of
exactly.
there.
That's what I
He
mean.
has to get
John
out of there.
Carlos Stanton sitting there banging his head against the center field wall. Like, what
hamstring
is
injury?
going on?
Actually, it's not ready to go yet. I'm not stepping on that field. With these guys, I'm not stepping on that field yet. Are you kidding?
Those guys are there for. Those guys are energy guys off the bench, big guys that come in, they bang you, they grab rebounds,
Right.
They catch the ball and they dunk it or they lay it up.
Yeah.
A couple times a game. They bring energy.
So the Heat take Game 5. They're up 3-2. Game 6 will be tomorrow night in Indiana. Game time is at 8:30. Definitely going to be a game to watch. But let's go to our next phone call. We'll go to the sports conspirator on the line right now. Scotty, what's going on, man?
Guys, perfect time for the sports conspirator to be calling up the show because this Chris Anderson suspension has conspiracy written all over it. First of all, you have Twitter blowing up, okay, which I believe was the NBA totally setting it up. Like, who really, I mean, that was a flagrant 2, throw a guy out of the game. They basically stood toe-to-toe. It was a light push. Hansborough basically budges.
I don't know about a light push, Scotty.
Come on, dude. I agree with Scott.
This guy is 6'5". That was not a beastly push at all. Like, I mean, in my opinion, you know, immediately David Stern comes out after Twitter blows up and announces that, you know, Chris Anderson should be suspended. I mean, who would really look at that unless you're a Pacers fan and you want the Pacers to win and say that should be a clear-cut throw a guy out of a game? Were you watching basketball in the 90s, the 80s? I mean, at any point in the 2000s? That is not what I would constitute to be worthy of throwing somebody out of a game. If you're not looking, you're risking a player's injury, you're pushing somebody in the face, or you know, you're putting it on the referee. The bottom line is, from a conspiracy standpoint, the NBA wants this series to go 7 games because it's a good. Right now, you're seeing a lot of back and forth dialogue about who's going to win this series. They want Indiana to be a perpetual playoff team,
right?
And they want them to have a little steam behind them because they are a legitimate basketball market.
They do not want the Indiana Pacers to match up against the San Antonio Spurs
That'd
in
be
the
a
NBA
terrible,
Finals.
terrible rating.
No,
The
I'm
only
not saying
draw
that,
that the NBA has right now left in the finals, because it's a known thing that no one cares about watching the Spurs, is the Miami Heat.
Right.
So, and listen, of course they wanted to go Game 7. They lost games in the San Antonio. They probably do want to go Game 7, but Where's the conspiracy coming? You think this is going to cost the Heat a game? I mean, you're talking about Chris Anderson. It's not going to cost anybody a ball game.
Guys, I want to answer you a question. When can we start talking about Eric Spoelstra as being one of the very best coaches in the league?
Well, he does have a lot to work with, though, Scott.
Yeah, but so did Phil Jackson and a lot of other guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, listen, I mean, I can tell you right now, the X's and O's of the whole entire series, I mean, I really think Spoelstra and Vogel are very, very close right now. I mean, the game's, the series is 3-2. Indiana's had their wins. They have to deal,
Popovich, you have to talk about him as being one of the best coaches in
Popovich,
NBA
yeah,
too.
we already know about him. But you know what, Scott? I think that Spoelstra's already in that conversation, to be honest with you. I mean, his inbounding plays are great, his misdirection. I mean, he's really doing a lot of good things in this series where, but I think after he won that chip last year, it's like, all right, he knows what he's doing. He got these three guys on the same page. They won a championship. Like, once you win a championship as a coach, I feel like, all right, you're good.
Yeah.
You know what
Scotty,
I mean? Like,
thanks for calling in tonight, man.
You got it, guys. Take care.
All right. Remember the number to call, 631-955-5400. Quick update. The Yankees are up 4-1 right now in the 7th inning. We're going to take a quick break right now, but when we come back, we're now going to speak about the firing of head coach John Tortorella, and we'll give up some key names right now, who the Rangers are looking at to fill that vacancy right after this, guys.
Coming back, LB and the Sports Doctor live, baby, 9 to 10 Friday nights. All right, Chris, is this gonna? Promise me this will be the end of hockey and Ranger talk after we go over this subject right now.
Unless the Rangers finally get a head coach, maybe 2 weeks down the line, then we'll have to bring it up again. But
I'm just messing around with you, pal.
Of course. But some big news, obviously, for the team that plays in Madison Square Garden, the New York Rangers. They fire their head coach, John Tortorella, after 5 seasons. And personally, we spoke about it last week, Lou. I thought he was going to get another year with this shortened season, 48-game season. I brought up all the reasons why last year. The team makes the playoffs almost every single year. They got past into the second round the past 2 seasons. And there's a lot of coaches in this league right now that don't have the resume that John Tortorella does, and they're still coaching their respected teams. The bottom line is the players did not back up John Tortorella at all.
Well, who goes? Players or the coach?
The players.
There you go.
The players, you talk about in all sports, no matter who's playing. The players now control these teams and not the coaches. But the GM, Glenn Sather, he had to speak to some key guys. Henrik Lundqvist, Ryan Callahan, Rick Nash, before he made this decision. And obviously they weren't on the same page. They did not want the Tortorella system for next season. After the comments that Henrik Lundqvist made a couple days ago about signing a long-term contract, that he speak to his agent. He's not happy with the system that they're running right now, and I think that was it. That's all Glenn Sather needed to hear.
Goodbye.
John Tortorella was out.
I can see the Rangers wanting to get a guy with a fast coach, like a fast-paced coach, like a guy who wants to go up and down the ice and just keep on getting shots on goal, and let's go.
Spoke about it with Mike from Pittsburgh. The teams that are successful in the NHL right now, you look at the Penguins, you look at the Blackhawks, a lot of key guys that could score goals, skate up and down the ice, high-powered offenses. They get okay goaltending. They don't have a goaltender like Henrik Lundqvist. He is the best in the world. He keeps the Rangers in almost every single game. The Rangers, if they were able to score goals, if they were able to score goals off the power play, they play terrible 5-on-4 hockey. The power play has been atrocious for years. Every big star that comes over here all of a sudden cannot put the puck in the net. What is that? That's some of the criticism I do have for John Tortorella. I'm not one of the biggest fans of him, but I did think that they needed to keep him for another year. It was a shortened season, 48 games. Give him another year to see what we could do. Obviously, Glenn Sather thought differently. We're going to go into a different direction now, and we'll see what's next for the Rangers, because now the next coach that comes in here is going to have a lot of pressure on him. It's going to be cup or bust next year. We just went into the Eastern Conference Finals last season. We got bounced out in the second round this season. Anything less than that is a failure. You have to make it back to the Eastern Conference Finals or even into the Stanley Cup. A lot of names are getting thrown around right now. Ex-Rangers, Lindy Ruff, who just got fired from Buffalo. He's also going to be one of the candidates for the Dallas job as a head coach. You know, you get Mark Messier. His name's getting thrown around a lot. Mike Keenan, who we spoke about before when the show started, We spoke about his contract that he has over in Russia.
What about Barry Melrose?
Barry Melrose, I think he's sitting pretty right now with his NHL job. He has one of the easiest jobs in the world, man. Just analyzing hockey about 5-10 minutes a day.
Boring, I would think.
And getting paid a lot of money to do it. But now you got your 2 top wide receivers that are not at OTAs.
That's a problem for
That
Eli
is a
Manning.
problem.
That's
They were
a
saying
problem.
that Eli Manning is throwing passes to a bunch of wide receivers who have a combined 58 catches in their career.
I understand.
Victor Cruz did that before week 7.
But Eli's Eli, man. He'll take care of business. Don't worry
Start
about
to
it. I
worry
think,
when they don't show up for actual training camp.
yeah, exactly.
No, no.
That's
don't
when you
worry.
start to
Yeah.
I'm not getting worried at all. Do not,
Well, you are a little bit.
no, not at all.
Little bit.
I really think they're going to get a deal done with Victor
Nah,
Cruz.
you said
I
some
don't
things.
think
You
that
said
he's.
some things.
You said some
Nah,
things.
you said some things.
Said some things.
You said some things.
Nah, I didn't say nothing. Get me a drink. God, I'll pay. No. I'll pay. No. Tommy, drinks are on the house.
The house. Billy Bats, if everyone's wondering, what is Lou doing right now? That is the scene from Goodfellas. But
That's my favorite one.
I'm not worried. I'm really not worried about Victor Cruz. I really think the Giants will get a deal done when all is said and done. And Hakeem Nicks will be at OTAs or spring training or mini camp, wherever he will be there eventually.
Everybody out there listening to this show right now, you have to watch the 30 for 30 on ESPN about Bo Jackson. This guy was the man, dude. He was the man.
Two-sport athlete. Football, baseball.
Unbelievable.
That play that he made at Kansas City when he's actually climbing up the wall, and when I mean climbing, I meant like running off the wall to make the play. I think that was one of the greatest catches in baseball.
Dude, there's another play where they play. I'm just going to give people a snippet. I'm going to give you a quick snippet. Harold Reynolds, right?
Yep.
Bangs out. I think he was on first, and someone hits like a bomb out to like the warning track in left field, right? Like, dude, like off the wall. In one motion, Harold Reynolds, they said, oh, Harold Reynolds is fast. He's fast. Bo Jackson, off the wall from the warning track, doof, threw a pellet, bro. No cutoff, man.
Yeah.
Right to the catcher. Nailed Harold Reynolds. Harold Reynolds got up and was like,
How'd you just do that?
he didn't know. He didn't know what happened. He's like, who cut that off? Who cut that off? They're like, nobody cut that off. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, he's standing in the same spot he pegged you from. They said he went into the back room after the game and watched the tapes
Right.
and was just continuously rewinding the play and shaking his head and being like, yo,
There's no way he just made that throw.
this is not supposed to be done. Like, how did that happen?
Right.
It was sick, dude.
Does he think he's Henry Rowan Gardner from Rookie of the Year, making that frozen rope to the catcher? Oh, man, Bo Jackson was a hell of an athlete.
Oh,
though,
man, I'm telling you, there's a lot of cool stories in that thing, though.
Other than Justin Verlander, who's #1 best pitcher in Major League Baseball, Clayton Kershaw is the
that's-
second best, or even 1A if you want to mark it that way. Clayton Kershaw is right next to Justin Verlander as a top pitcher in Major League Baseball.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, you know.
But I'm saying to start my organization with a young kid, carries himself very well as a professional, 23, 24 years old. I don't think you could ask for a better person in your organization than Matt Harvey right now.
I
That's
guess
just how I
right
feel.
at this moment, I guess you're right. Mets lost, by the way, 5-1.
To the worst team in baseball.
14 wins for Miami.
They took their talents down to South Beach. Didn't work out too well for the Amazings.
They must have been partying last night, boy.
Oh, man, that's tough. You know, they're riding on cloud 9 right now after sweeping the Yankees. They go down to the Miami Marlins, the worst team in baseball, and they lose Game 1.
And what's funny is that it was pretty much a shutout until the 7th, and
Yeah.
then the Marlins decided, I don't know, was it a pitching change or I don't know who gave up the runs, but they just woke up and just smacked them around.
And it's not like the Mets lineup's been hitting. They scored 16 runs in 4 games against the Yankees and won all 4 games. They just got a little lucky that the Yankees lineup was worse than theirs. You know, when you're looking at 2-1, 2-1, all right, 9-4 in Game 3, and then 3-1, those are not high-scoring games other than Game 3. You take David Phelps' first inning away, and the Mets probably don't even score more than in double digits in 4 games.
And on that note, Chris, LB and the Sports Doctor radio show is coming to a close, man.
Like we do every Friday night from 9 to 10. Go follow those Twitters out there at Sports Doctor TV, at The Daily Cleanup, and at LB and Chris. Check out the YouTube videos. Search engine Chris Burrell. I'm signing off. The Sports Doctor. I'm here with my co-host LB.
That's right, baby. LB, the one and only.
Till next week, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. We'll see you next Friday night.
Peace.